What time is it, Mr. Gardner? Is it time for group?
Ma'am?
Is it time for group, Mr. Gardner?
I don't know. I'm not Mr. Garner. I hadn't been Mr. Garner in about 35 years.
8 minutes out.
38 years.
So I can't call you Mr. Garner?
Well, I do, I worked 12 years for my title, so
You want me to call you Dr. Garner?
I want everybody. I told my grandchildren when they were born, I said, look, it's Dr. Garner, but they still call me Pawpaw.
Not Dr. Pawpaw.
No, that would have been, I would
be going for Dr. Pawpaw too.
That would have been all right, but they refused to do. We are online now, so we are. It looks like we're working well. I often.
What's your YouTube channel called?
Land Manor.
Land. I do my phone. Oh.
I'm gonna walk into the restroom quickly, and I'll be back. How are you doing, man?
I'm ready.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
You well? You feel good?
Mm-hmm.
You smell all right?
Yeah.
I just don't see you in group much. So.
No, I have I've been having medical situations, so.
Well, I understand that.
And I'm having a hard time understanding why a doctor doesn't know that there isn't a word called religionology.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. When he was talking the other day, he goes, and religionology, that's not a word. It's going to be religion and theology. Not religionology. That's not even. Tell me that. Religionology. I mean, ask her. I went on a freaking 2 days.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
I mean,
I didn't love how it made you feel like, but I loved how you were already like wrong.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, went off on.
I like being educated. I like to learn new things. I mean
that drove me at the damn wall. Like I'm like.
And she's like, no, that's good. I hate how my mom isn't perfect.
Oh yeah, that was good.
It is perfect.
You're like the mom that's like, you know, it's ugly. You're like, no,
I know she is. It's fantastic.
4 kids, so that's fine.
She does have that whole nurturing.
Family, fantastic, man.
She's gonna make you a little certificate and then you pay in last. We love you.
Worse is worse. Oh no, then the last is
Yeah. But I was off to the parents. They told my children to go out there and sail huge. Got that now, and I still believe in that. Yeah. Go out there and sail big. So that when you succeed, because you will.
You have to learn.
And you do.
You have to learn that you're not always going to succeed at everything.
Well, not just that, but I never wanted them to be scared to take the risk.
Mm-hmm. And you have to be comfortable with failing to be comfortable with succeeding.
Exactly.
And that's not something you can teach.
Why did he say that he doesn't feel like if you're in reach or whatever?
No, he's feeling really off. He doesn't feel good. He feels really weird. So that's why I was I was like, if you feel like you're gonna pass out, please sit down before that. If you start bleeding out, I'm gonna have to leave. That's why I'm not for your blood. I cannot help it.
Wait, what happened? What's wrong with him?
So I don't know. He said, his blood sugar's okay, but he said he feels really weird. And I was like, you can always go home and we can get massage and come in here on your last day. Yeah. Because you're too old to be pushing yourself. That's why.
And your wife.
No, I didn't. You're too old.
And obviously.
No, I mean, and realistically as well, he is too old. If you feel your body is off, you need to rest. Mm-hmm. Because you'd be surprised how quick your life will stop because you're overdoing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, my son stayed, he stayed up for like a week. And just for being up that long, his body started to shut down.
Yeah.
And he coded on the way out of the house.
Oh my goodness.
Like, I died.
Just say a prayer for Mr. Garner.
Yeah, Dr. Garner.
Because something's wrong with him.
Y'all, where would the sign-in sheet be from this morning? Our first group.
They are usually getting the chicken.
I wasn't here.
I'll get on. I'll get on it then because I gotta go whenever he calls.
I just don't like when other people I care about get sick.
No, I signed it.
And it's yes, he's so cool.
Oh, you can tell.
Hey, Ed, look at how.
You okay?
What?
Looking for to stick my names on there. We were gonna say a prayer for you.
I mean, I'll try, but I mean,
Well, I appreciate it. I didn't know where I could get, but I was going to. I'm gonna take a COVID test.
Huh?
I know the
It's
best-
not hard to
best
I'm going in there to
test
find
today.
phone numbers and stuff for myself.
I'm gonna get real close to you and breathe on your line.
I'm
Then
sorry.
if you
I'm
start
sorry.
feeling
I'm
bad,
sorry. I'll look and see.
You're good.
No, no, I shouldn't.
That's
No. I'm letting the ugly get in.
Okay.
Get in.
that's all right. Thank you for being willing to help.
Is that what you think you have?
No.
But I will. I'll look. If not,
I
then
think
I'll
I
let
have
Mr. Shimano and-
this morning. I ate a bunch of junk yesterday.
Thank you.
I had to go to my endocrinologist. It was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon,
The devil's running.
so I had to not eat all day. So I didn't eat all day long. And I went, after
You know what I
the
mean?
endocrinologist, I called my wife.
But I'll
She
look
said,
up.
"Well, I'm not cooking, so
And
you
then I'll
stop,
text
get you some."
Mhm.
So I
You
did.
kind of binge.
I did kind of. I stopped. I went to Sonic and I got a little hamburger and I got some onion rings and I got a strawberry shake. Then on the way home, I stopped and got a pint of ice cream.
Oh
And
God.
I got home and I ate 3 packs of cookies.
Oh yeah.
You know
3 whole packs.
I
But
got
they
my
were
sheets in the box.
wasn't great big,
yeah.
but they were still whole packs.
So you had like 16 cookies as well as a strawberry shake and ice cream?
Yeah.
This is the guy that don't even eat Pop Tarts.
Yeah.
We didn't start a class yet. Huh?
So it was.
It's
Can I
fine.
go past here? Because I can't get to my seat.
That's okay.
We have inside. I went out about that.
You go to church, you go
I'm a
to
paralyzed.
I'm tired of doing
I mean, I've already got time, but I mean, for the week.
My stomach's flipping.
Well, it's kind of 9 o'clock, y'all, so we're going to get started. So if someone has the sign-in sheets,
No,
let's
sir.
get them passed around.
Brandy will pass them first.
Please make sure that you sign your name on the sign-in sheet correctly. You guys over at South do the same thing. And yesterday,
I have one heart
I just have to grab
yesterday I got the sign-in sheets out of here and put them in the deal and did all of that stuff, and it turned out they were the wrong sheets. So let's make sure we get the correct sheets and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, sir.
And you're supposed to have brought your book to group. Today's Friday. Today's the last day we're going to have on spirituality.
I have to go to this meeting. She said when the group starts coming.
Okay. She wanted you to wait until group started.
That's
To
what she
come.
said.
Okay, that works.
They do that all the time. He's just picking on
Do I need to sign a sheet before I go? Or?
No, you're not in group. Don't sign a sheet. So anyway, if you have your book with you, we may have an abbreviated lesson today and all of that stuff, but we're still going to be on spirituality, but we are going to also be looking at some self-care and stuff like that today. And do you see? I know you guys over at South can't see it very well, but this is Arnold Schwarzenegger in his heyday, when he was looking really, 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 really good and all of that stuff, And so that's him, and he's looking really good. So what this is about is we're going to talk a little bit about strengths that we have. A lot of us have a lot of strengths, and sometimes we are unable to see our own strengths. Sometimes other people see our strengths before we see our strengths. And so look, and that's really important to us because we need to know that we're strong people. Right? I'm gonna tell you, you can't really be an addict without being pretty strong. Right? When I was out in my addiction, I will tell you, I was a strong person. I could go 3 or 4 days without eating. Of course, I was drinking, smoking, but I couldn't, I wasn't eating, so I could do all that stuff. It takes a strong person to live under a bridge. It takes a strong person to live under a house. It takes a strong person to run as fast as you can every time a policeman comes by the house. Yeah, that's just people. People don't realize that. It takes a lot of strength to do that. So when we're looking at the fact that people say that we're weak and all of this kind of stuff because we have these issues with drugs and alcohol, they don't really realize that, hey, I got some strengths in here too. One of the sad parts of it is that there you go, been captured. One of the sad parts of it is, though, that we don't recognize a lot of the time our own strengths. We need to be, because here's the deal, the strengths that we use to keep us alive and functioning in our addiction, we can use those to keep us in our recovery. We should be able to do that, right? We should be able to do that. But we need to know that we have them. So what is the goal of the group today?
Spirituality.
Learn more about spirituality.
Learn more about our own strengths. Learn more about how we're going to stay in recovery using our own strengths. Learning more about how spirituality can be one of our great strengths, right? Now, I've already shared it with this group, but let me share it with the group over at South, and I don't feel well. So I don't feel well. I feel bad. And so it may be abbreviated. I may lay down
That's okay.
for a couple minutes, every now and then. I might just lay down over here. I'm going to be drinking some of this water because I think somebody poisoned my coffee this morning.
Oh.
We feel that way all the time.
You may have made your wife then.
So I know I'm not drinking enough water, but we're gonna make it. So if for some reason it looks like the computer has frozen up over there, maybe not. You can call, but maybe not. It might be just me for a moment, and that'll help. So if you have your book with you, what does that mean?
That we were prepared.
For class.
That you were prepared for class and you came to class correctly. You came to class bringing the right stuff to class, and you get an A for being on time, or you don't. But everybody else gets an A for being on time and having their book with them and all of that kind of stuff, right?
I got my book.
Well, your book was in class, but you weren't. I don't know how that counts. So we're at the very last one of these things. This is the 5th day with looking at spirituality a little bit. So I want us to read the last one. If we've moved a little bit, look, when we first started talking about spirituality at the first of the week, we were talking about the fact that, hey, we don't have anything to do with spirituality at all. Don't believe in God. None of that stuff. Don't like higher power talk. Don't any of that stuff. I don't really care about spirituality and all of that stuff. But we move as we go down through the week. We allow it to come in. We think about it a little bit. And then yesterday we read the thing that said, hey, we were pretty confident about all of that stuff. Yeah. So today we're at that place where it says devout. What does devout mean? Anybody?
Devoted.
Devoted?
Yeah.
What else?
I don't know, everyday dictionary.
Serious? Committed? Is this for today, for this group?
We're doing
See,
it
that's
right
what
now.
happened. Y'all gave me the wrong group yesterday. And so it's in the book back out there. It's in the wrong thing. That's the wrong one. So, I appreciate y'all getting the sign-in sheets and all of that stuff going around, taking care of them and all of that stuff. But while group's going on in here, y'all doing somebody else's groups. I don't know how much anyway, I don't know how much I appreciate that. So here's what devout is. You ready?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
ready? Oh, okay. That works. You have clear, undeniable spiritual belief. That sound like anybody in here?
Me.
Yeah, I do. I have clear, undeniable spiritual beliefs that are practiced regularly. I have tons of people tell me all the time, not all the time, but I have a lot of people tell me that I believe in all that stuff up there, but I just don't like going to church. Nothing. I don't like them people down there at church. Can I tell you something? The people are the church. So the building that ain't never been the church. It's the people what's in the building. It's the church, right? So it's kind of tough. You don't like the building. You don't like the people. But there's some people in the building that I don't like. There's two people in here I really don't like.
Two?
Just two.
Just two?
Yeah. One of them I'm really embarrassed about sometimes. One of them tells lies. One of them sometimes is just, nasty. Sometimes they're snide and ugly to other people. And sometimes I just don't like that person.
Like, for real?
Yeah, for real.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
For real. Y'all want me to point that person out?
No. Oh.
Me. I don't like. Sometimes I don't like a hoe.
What is the other one?
The other person, well, I can't tell y'all that. No, and the other person is the devil, because I guarantee you, every time we try to start a group, the devil and all his little entities come off in here, and he'll say, "Talk to that other person in group." Look, well, you need to be studying your book. You need to look. You hungry. You need to eat a little something else. The fact that you done ate 9 boxes of cookies don't matter. You need to eat some more. Stuff like that. So, devout. You have clear, undeniable spiritual beliefs that are practiced regularly and contribute daily to your overall well-being. That's pretty serious, right? You seek spiritual guidance in conjunction with other methods of making decisions. Does that sound like anybody in here? I do that. I was praying while I was walking down the hallway. I don't feel well. So when I make decisions and everything, I sometimes, I'm thinking other things and all of this stuff, but I'm always going to talk to God about that. I'm not make any decision at all until I talk to God about that. So that's where we hope to, at some point, wind up with our higher power.
I left my book back there.
You left your book back there? And you're in group without your book?
No, I'm here. It's just back
Yeah,
there.
you're here. Your book's over there, but
Is it
So,
No, it's in my spiral.
Oh.
Is it yellow?
all right, there's a couple of quick things I want us to go over this morning. And I left my thing over here, so y'all excuse me just a moment. We got one more little thing on our spirituality thing, and then we're going to talk about strengths and all of that. But now I have to find it because I put it up somewhere and I can't find it now.
Amen.
You say amen?
Did I tell y'all I felt bad?
Yes, sir.
Wow. You look healthy.
I am healthy. You can be healthy and feel bad. I don't know why.
I hope you get feeling better. Yeah, I do too. You're an awesome doctor.
I think I have a case of olditis.
Otitis.
Yeah.
I have that
okay.
too. I have that too.
Okay, so I don't care.
So here's the last thing in spirituality for the week, what we're going to talk about real quickly today. And, if we get all this done, we might take a 45-minute break.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody's excited now.
That
You
will
know.
never happen. We are
Well,
engaged.
it could happen. What we're going to have to do is take a 45-minute break without anybody knowing.
But just sitting here.
Just
with
so
no
let's
bad-
be quiet,
Y'all know Miss
We'll just take you to that chair. You've already-
y'all know Miss Chastity gonna be down here after a while to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
And if you tell us we're supposed to be taking a nap, then we're supposed to be taking a nap.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell her.
We are meditating.
This is like kindergarten. We're all having.
And meditating.
We're all taking a nap. Look,
Meditating.
let me share this with you real quickly, and then we'll move on to whatever we need to do. Spiritual practices can be beneficial to everyone. Now, what did we say?
Spiritual practice could be beneficial to everyone.
Oh, you guys are awesome. Y'all heard all spiritual practices. You hear what that spiritual practices? What does that mean?
Meditation.
It could be meditation. It could be prayer. It could be anything else. It's just spiritual in nature. What that means is that we're not talking about religion. Religion is a set of rules that somebody has set up and said you had to follow this set of rules. And that's religion. Now, can you find spirituality in religion?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Can you find religion in spirituality?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Because a lot of times when we're seeking our spirituality, you're going to set up a set of rules. Remember we talked about yoga the other day? Yoga is not a religion, but yoga has a set of rules. Yoga has a set of rules that's set up just like on a religious situation. So in a spiritual thing, we can set up some of those same things. So, but spiritual practices can be beneficial to everyone. So what does that tell you? If this is true, if spiritual practices can be beneficial to everyone, it can be beneficial to us, right? Even the folks sitting on the back row, not paying any attention at all, and talking to the others. It can be, look, this can be beneficial to you, right? Spiritual practices can be, this is what I need us to do today, is to look at ourselves and say, hey, no matter what, spiritual practices can be beneficial to me.
Spiritual practices can be beneficial to me.
Thank you. And they can be beneficial to helping us with our children, which we're all passing around looking at all
in our relationships
and everything. It can be beneficial in our relationships. It can be beneficial with our It can be beneficial. It helps us. We talked about how it helps us in our health. It helps us in this. It helps in just about every way. So many. It says, look, spiritual practices can be beneficial to everyone, but they are particularly useful and vital to those of us in recovery. And there's a reason for that. In recovery, we're going to need some help in recovery. Right? We are, because we're so easily, it's just like the group, we're so easily, there's so many things we would rather do than be in here today, isn't there? There's so many things. Look, there's 1,000 things we could do. There's so many things that are interesting. There's the lady who got out of the program, and she's sitting up front, and she had a bassinet, and it's empty. And I asked her what she was doing with that bassinet. She's toting around an empty bassinet, hoping a baby would fall in it or something like that. And we can get distracted by all sorts of stuff. And in here, it's just amazing. We can get distracted by everything. And that's true. I get distracted all the time. And especially when I'm trying to practice my spiritual practices, the things that I do. We were talking about this yesterday, that even when you're praying, sometimes some intrusive thought's going to come in there.
Yeah.
Right? That's natural. That's normal. That's what's going to happen. So we need to understand that those distractions, how do I deal with that?
We learn to cope with it or not get distracted.
Well, you do learn to get we're gonna get distracted. One of the big things that I think, now y'all don't take this personally, is work towards not being a distraction myself.
Right.
If I know in my knower, this is my knower, and if I know in my knower, if I carry this Dr. Pepper in the groove, and I got some salted peanuts in that Dr. Pepper, and I take that in the groove, and I put the top on that Dr. Pepper, let's shake it up, and it goes, that's going to be disruptive to groove. What should I do?
Not do that.
Don't do that. Leave your Dr. Pepper down yonder somewhere about your room or something. And pictures of my cheering, and something like that. If that's going to be distracting, everybody wants to see the pictures of the children, right?
Yeah.
I love children. I especially love other people's children, because you can say, "Hey, go home."
Yeah.
Go with your mom. Go with your mom. I've never understood why people like little bitty babies so much. Because they're little.
I love little babies.
I know every girl I've ever met, they're little bitty babies. But look, they're a
Have you
little
ever
bitty
smelled a baby?
sausage. I have smelled them. Sometimes from the door to, but they're a little bitty sausage. They puke at one end, poop at the other end. What's the like? I don't understand that.
You sound like a grumpy grandpa.
That's why God made girls so that they could keep those little sausages that off the other side. We really look in many cases the allure. What does that mean? What's the word allure mean? The attraction, the attraction, the need, the allure, the thing that makes it look so good. The allure of drugs and alcohol as a way to cope with life's difficulties can be nearly impossible to resist. Can it? I didn't resist it. Neither did you.
I know he's acting very well.
Well, and I know exactly how to use vodka and all of that kind of stuff to take care of some of the issues that are in my life. I just know how to do it. Another way, you can remove things like this and just get them out of the way and see. It works so well. Look, see how much. That shows how good a counselor I am because I just helped her a lot. Right? So now that distraction is completely gone. So, but the allure of that, how am I going to get past that? I can't pay my rent. How am I going to get past that? I can't find a job. How am I going to deal with that? My significant other, that person that I know, that's my life partner. I know this is the one. They don't like me no more. Right? And all this stuff. And they're leaving. And my children are all ugly. They're all nasty and they're ugly and they run off at the nose and all of that stuff and nobody likes them. I can't take them out in public because they run off at the nose and everything. People slip down in that stuff and it's all bad. So how do I deal with that? Well, using a little alcohol or using a little something or getting a little shot or taking a pill or a little toke of this or smoke of that, then that's going to help me with that, right?
No.
I'm not going to be bothered by that if I'm not here.
Right.
My body has to be here, but my mind and my my psyche and all, they don't have to be here so I can use the drug. So, that has a real allure to it. That's one of the reasons we've used. I don't like me. I don't like my situation. I don't like my mood. I don't like what's going on. So I'm going to use what?
Drugs now.
Mind altering, mood altering drugs. Some kind of substance to make things different in my life. Because I will tell you this, that all the other ways to make things different, like if I don't have a good enough job, if I'm working at a low level job and I'm just working myself to death, and when I leave from there, they give me my when they pay me, it's in change, or a pat on the back and say that again.
2 pieces of cheese. I know
2 pieces of cheese. Somebody gets paid with 2 pieces of cheese, stuff like that. That can be stressful, that can be bad and all of that kind of stuff, but what can we do about that?
Do something different.
Oh, you can don't be saying nothing to me. You can do something about everything. What you can do is get a little bit more education, go back to school, learn how to be a welder, learn how to be a truck driver. Both of those jobs are very well-paying jobs and very honorable professions. Right?
Yes,
And I happen to know, it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a lady, you can be a welder, or you can be a carpenter, or you can be a truck driver. I have seen, I know lady welders, and, I don't like them. The one, because when I was a kid, I tried to be a welder, and I got to it, but y'all know what a spot welder is?
Yep.
That's somebody can just dab on it a little bit, dab it a little bit, but being a welder is an art. You have to really be good at that. And I know some, people who can, and then they be looking off, chawing tobacco and talking to you and welding perfect welds. And that ain't right.
They say that women welders are better because they have better precision.
It may be that. She said women welders are better because they have better precision. And she said it just like that. And that could be like some people are snide.
Yeah.
Some people are snide when they talk. Yeah. So anyway, drugs and alcohol as a way to cope with life's difficulty can be, look, it says nearly impossible to resist. What's the operative word in that sentence? Nearly. What does that mean? You can do it. You can. I know so many, and there were so many times. Look, addiction's addiction. I told y'all about yesterday. I'm going home. I had all of that junk to eat. I'm drinking a strawberry shake. Don't look if you like strawberry shakes. Go to the Sonic, and then don't buy one because they're not good from there. They are terrible. They are horrible. They put real strawberries in them, and they don't. That's not supposed. You're supposed to be sugar. It's supposed to be sweet and stuff like that. They're not sweet. They taste like strawberries. They're strawberries, and it clogs your straw up and everything. You can't. They're just terrible. So I'll never have another one of those. So anyway, it's nearly impossible. That's a really good thing for us to understand because it's nearly impossible, but that means it's not impossible. It's hard. It's hard, but it's not impossible. Because I got that stupid strawberry shake yesterday, and then I did what?
I ate 3 packs of cookies.
I did eat 3 packs of
But
cookies.
you got more ice cream.
And I got a pint. I got a pint of orange swirl ice cream. Y'all ever had a dreamsicle? Those dreamsicles are to die for. They're wonderful. And I'm thinking in my thinker, this thing right here is going to be just like it. It wasn't. It was nasty. It was terrible. So I ate it as quickly as I could. It wasn't sherbet. It was ice cream.
If you get you an orange cream slush from
I don't want that stuff. She's trying to kill me.
No, it would be better than the strawberry shake.
Yeah, and I'm not going to do that. I'm done. I'm not going to do all that stuff because it made me feel like I'm feeling now. Yes. So it's nearly impossible, but here's what it says. Look, it's nearly impossible to resist without a framework of meaning to fall back on. What's going to give you meaning in your life?
Your family.
Your family can give you some meaning. Can your children give you family? Your job can give you some meaning in your life. That's why I keep coming out here because I see what I do as helping. And so that gives me some meaning in my life. And I go home every day and I say, you know what? I helped 4 people. And then, God will remind me, there were 24 people in the class. Yeah, but the other 20 wasn't listening. But the 4 that were, I did some good there. And sometimes, I get to pour a little bit into some of the counselors' lives. And so helping a little bit there. And then every 2 weeks they pay me, so I'm helping my wife.
Right.
She's getting some more. So all of that is meaning, but what if you don't have all that stuff?
You can find meaning.
Or you will die. Yeah, I like to do stuff. It actually worked the other day. I said as we were coming back, we're all late back from break, and I said, you will die. Somebody stopped and said, well, what? If I don't do what, I'll, get the group on time. If all of that stuff, if you don't have any of those things to use to put some meaning into your life, you should have a higher power. If everything goes away, there was a guy in the Bible called Paul, and he said, I can I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So do you need strength?
Yes.
You know, Paul was talking about being totally broke and having nothing. You can do that. I've been totally broke and had nothing, and I can do that. He's been up here where he had plenty. I've been at a place where I've had plenty, and I can deal with both places. Sometimes it's harder to deal with having something than it is with not having something, because once we've got something, it makes us feel like we're better than other people sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So I need to have a higher power in my life so that when everything else falls apart, when that person that I love so much leaves and takes my children with them, and they take all the money. Well, I know of a situation where the girl decided she's going to leave the guy. They've been married for 10 years. She took off. When she took off, she took all the money out of the bank, and she hadn't paid the note on their house for like 4 or 5 months. She was getting, the bank was talking to her, but she didn't care. So at that point, she was taking all that money that she was supposed to be paying to the bank and stuff, and she's putting that in a little pocket, and then she's gone. So stuff like that. What do you do when stuff like that happens?
Right.
You pray. You go to your higher power. So everything else is falling apart. If you don't have a higher power, where are you going to go more than likely? To your other God. Yeah, who's your other God? Drugs and alcohol, because we bowed at the altar of drugs and alcohol. We used them when we knew we shouldn't use them. We turned our lives and our wills over to alcohol and to drugs because we knew what we were going to do when we used. We knew how it was going to make us feel, and we knew normally what we were going to do when we got into that situation, right? We knew what we were going to do. If I drank one drink, when does an alcoholic stop drinking?
When they black out.
When there's no more alcohol left in the world, we'll stop. If it's all done, if it's all gone, or if, like you said, we're passed out or we're dead, on my tombstone, it needs to say, finally sober. Finally sober. Ain't no chance of him getting drunk now. Finally got a good place where he's never going to get back into that stuff again. Look, I've been sober for a long time. Is there a chance of me relapsing? Yes. And see, this is why the groups should pay really close. Because when y'all hurt my feelings by not paying attention and stuff like not bringing your book, coming in late, and all of that kind of stuff. Is that a relapse trigger for me?
Yes.
Well, it could be. It could be. Yeah. And then if I go out of here and relapse and lose all my stuff, my recovery and all of that stuff, it's because you were doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing. I'm going to look at that, see what that. Anyway, you got to have something to fall back on.
She's kidnapping.
I would like to apologize.
I'm sorry, the rest of this is going to be so important. I'm sorry you're not going to be here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Disrupted the group.
You have to have. We appreciate you apologizing. Was that nice? Was that nice? That was really nice. She's apologizing for coming in late and disrupting the group. Isn't that great? So she disrupted the group to apologize for disrupting the group. That is so. That is so silly. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. So it can be nearly impossible to resist it. So when we do that, we need to have a framework of meaning to fall back on. Having a higher power gives your life meaning.
Yes.
Y'all remember the old, I don't know if you guys are old enough or not, but y'all remember the old, the thing they used to have, the little bracelet that was said, that was WWJD.
What would Jesus do?
Yeah, what would Jesus do? Yeah. Well, they played with that a whole lot, but that's what I do. You know, when someone does something and that hurts my feelings, or someone does something that I need to talk to them about it, or something happens that really needs to be discussed, before I go talk to somebody, I'm going to say, well, what would Jesus do about that? Because here's the deal. If I really, truly love somebody like Jesus did, then I'm going to make sure that whatever I do is going to be the best thing for them. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you know, but you remember what what the addicts said about the WWJD? That's why we don't give them away anymore.
No.
We want Jim Beam, Jack Daniels. We want Jack Daniels. So anyway,
is that really why we don't get them bracelets anymore?
Yeah, because you see, addicts are crazy. You know, well, they don't. What would Jesus do? We want Jack Daniels. Anyway,
Oh my goodness.
it changes. Yes, oh my goodness. So when you can make sense of suffering in a meaningful way and take constructive, helpful steps to work through hardships, you're more likely to stay successful in recovery. If there's some goofy things that happen to us sometimes, and it's just terrible. You know, I was with a fella at a funeral not too long ago, and y'all know about it, where his son had died.
Yes, sir.
And then this was his second son who had died. Wow. Both of them were in recovery. Yeah. One of them died in his addiction. He had a car wreck and it killed him. And then the second one died, and they haven't told us why.
Oh, well.
They found him in his apartment with all of his workout equipment around him and everything. This is one of those hyper healthy people, his black belt and something and all of that kind of stuff. And he died from that. So he died, but we don't know why he passed away. Really, really, really hoping it wasn't a relapse.
Right, absolutely.
Really, really, really hoping that. But see, those are things that shouldn't happen in anybody's life, right? Your children should outlive you, right?
I agree.
So yeah, that's just what's normal. So if we have someone to fall back on, if we have really true spirituality in our lives, then we have someone we can go to. Do you have someone you can talk to?
Yes.
God.
Yeah. Well, and beyond God, though,
I feel like we can talk to
I believe we
too.
need to have God, but I also believe we need to have a person we can talk to.
That we can see an actual
Yeah.
person.
I have a spouse. We've been married for 52 years, and so we can talk about pretty much anything. But is there anybody else? You're supposed to have some sober support people. We need to be working to get some sober support people. Our sponsor, but your sponsor doesn't have to be that sober support person. They need to be sober, of course,
Yes.
but you need to have people that's outside your sponsor. Somebody else.
Like
Your sponsor is your sponsor who sponsored you into the program.
Therapist.
He's going to help you, or she's going to help you go through the 12 steps, help you to understand what all of that stuff means and all of that kind of stuff, answer some questions. Most of the things that I do to sponsees is tell them how I did it.
So you sponsor people? We
What?
can talk to friends?
No, you shouldn't sponsor your friends.
No, I just meant like we can talk to our friends.
You can talk to your friends, yeah, if they're sober friends.
Yeah.
If you have some friends, how many people in here still have friends that use?
Not anymore.
I don't know.
Okay. Just about everybody in here raised their hands. Well, just really quickly, this is off topic, but why do we have friends who still use?
They're not there yet.
What it is?
They're not there yet.
They're not there yet.
Their
Okay.
walk is different from
Okay, but that's them. I'm not talking about them. Why do you still have using friends?
Because you're attached to them.
You're attached to them, like having a puppy or something.
You have too much, there's a lot of memories that you have.
Why do we?
Walk away.
Yeah, I got too much invested in them
so
to
that
just
you can
walk
lead
away.
them to the right way. Maybe you can
You
be
may be
the-
able to lead them to a place where they get sober. What else? Anybody else got any reason why you still have sober?
sober friends.
Because you're going to make them into a new sober friend.
No, stop.
Oh, you haven't made any new sober friends yet.
Consider my old people my.
So you still have to keep your old people because you hadn't met any new people.
No, I know. I haven't got out to call them and tell them I'm not their friend.
You hadn't got out yet. Okay. Hadn't been able to tell them that. Look, so what's the real reason that we still have using friends?
Because we might want to go back and use.
Not because we might want to go back to you, because we want to go back to you.
No, we want that supportive aspect from someone who.
Yeah, we want to have somebody out there that we know that we go back to that person, they're going to have what we need. And look, we lie to ourselves, and we lie to our counselors, and we lie to the facilitators, and we lie to all those people, and we lie to God and everybody else. That's not why. Yes, it is. That's your addiction keeping you connected to your addiction. So that's why we say you have to get away from old people, old places, and old things, and to show that we actually have an addiction in our lives. That's when we ask that question, everybody in the class, I'm going to help them get into recovery. That works about 1 time out of 3 billion times. That don't work. You go over back there and you're the one that, man, you're raw, you're ready. You go back over there and you say, I want to help you get sober. Okay, well, let's smoke this last joint together.
And talk about it. And it's over.
Yeah.
Stay in the know so people don't think you're snitch.
Healthy steps to work through those. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Go ahead.
More of a street reason is that you stay around people so that the rumor of, he's working with the law, she's the law. I mean, that's a bad rumor to have on you when you're in the street.
Not me. I want people to think I'm the police. Yeah, that's honorable. That's honorable. I used to look. I was an addict. People look at me. Yeah, mark me. I'm a good guy. Yeah, that's what I want. I'm on that side. I'm a good guy. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to call the police on you if I need to.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Sure. If I go home and my wife is drunk, I'm calling the police on her.
But she's at home.
I don't care. I don't want her in my house. So healthy steps to work through hard. And you heard what I'm not going to use your name, but what the lady said was that if you don't use, when you get around those people, they may think that you are on the side of the police or something.
Correct.
The police.
Yeah.
They're going to think you're the feds.
Yeah, they're going to think you're a narc.
The U.S. Marshal.
Yeah. So, if you want to use that, then stay away from them because you don't want them to think that you're a narc or anything like that.
Yeah, you don't have to touch on me back.
Yeah.
It follows you on.
Yeah. But, and I can understand that mentality, but let me tell you, I'm a narc. So if I catch you with drugs, you're going to get narked on.
Mm-hmm.
You certainly will. So, hey, if me being a narc, me being someone who has the police number on speed dial keeps you from using drugs around me, okay.
Yep.
All right, I'm on that side. I'm on the side that's staying sober. I'm on the side that's doing the next right thing. And we all need to get on that side.
Yes, sir.
Now, if we're not on that side, you're not going to stay sober. You're fooling yourself. So here's the deal. You're more likely to stay successful in recovery if you have a higher power that you can be connected with. Incorporating spiritual practices and principles into your recovery can benefit you in several different ways, and we'll look at them real quickly. Improving your sense of self-worth. Have you ever been to the place you didn't feel like you were worthy?
Yes, church.
You've been to church and they...
No, that was one of the main reasons I didn't go. I didn't know work.
Yeah.
It took
Well, and I get that. I get that. Yeah. She said going to church, she didn't feel worthy to be there.
Some churches are like that.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes church people will make you feel like that. Yeah, you know, if you're not dressed well, look, I've had people that I used to go up with a van, pick them up and bring them to church, and you'd have to fumigate the van because they hadn't had a bath in a while. You know, but they're still, in the eyes of God, worthy. Yes. Right? They are. But I've been to a place where my self-worth was way down here. Right? And I'm going to tell you something. My self-worth is way up here now. Not because I'm better than anybody else, but I understand that we all are worthy in the eyes of God. You know, I mean, you're unique. You're wonderful. You're wonderfully, and what's the word say? Magnificently. That's not what it is. Fearfully and wonderfully made. Yeah, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Yeah.
Isaiah.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? That's good stuff. So we need to have our self-worth. You are worthy. Oh my goodness. Just the idea of that. Just to think about that. You know, I am worthy. That builds my self-worth. How about self-esteem?
It goes with that.
If I have, say it again.
It goes with that.
It goes with that. It does. If I have self-worth, then my self-esteem is going to go up. So what is self-esteem?
The way you feel about yourself.
That's a good way to say it, the way I feel about myself. And look, we all have self-esteem. Some of our self-esteem is in the toilet, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Some of our self-esteem is way down here. We have very low self-esteem. I suffer from low self-esteem. Y'all wouldn't know it because, you know, I'm rich, young, and good looking. But I do suffer from low self-esteem. Hey, yeah, and you know, it's one reason I have a doctorate degree, because you know when I got an associate's degree first, and there were people with bigger degrees, you know, so I couldn't feel like I was. So I went on and got my bachelor's degree, and then you know there were people with master's degree, so I had to get a master's. And then there were people with doctorate degree, so I had to get a doctorate degree, and then I had to go and do some other stuff. So anyway.
You're in competition.
That's all. Yes, I'm always in a competition with myself.
Make an example. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Like when she called you Mr. Garner.
Yeah.
You had to say,
sure.
Oh no, I'm a doctor.
That's exactly right. See, can you see where that would be caused by? Yeah. Can you see where that would be caused by low self-esteem?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You have to have that.
She made the point earlier this morning. Someone was audacious enough to call me Mr. Garner. And I had to point out to her that it took me 12 years to become Dr.
Yeah, you had to. I mean, it's like,
he did. It was
like your chest puffed out and everything when you said that.
Yeah. So that's part of being a low self-esteem, right? And,
yes, you are.
And does she suffer from low self-esteem at all?
But he's still a mister.
Does she suffer that from low self-esteem at all? You think? No? No less?
Well, I do have a little
but she had to point out my failing so to make her feel better about, you know. So look, all of us have that. So it's going. If I have a higher power, it's going to build my self-worth and my self-esteem, because I'm going to be looking at stuff like, you know what? No, everybody in the whole world may not like me. Everybody in the whole world may think less of me. Everybody in the whole world may think I am a butthead, but my higher power loves me. Absolutely. My higher power thinks great things about me. You know, the Bible says that God He says, I know the thoughts that I have of you, thoughts of peace and thoughts of a future. Yeah. So so he's thinking about me, whether you're thinking about me at all. Do y'all think about me after I leave here? I don't think about y'all. I go to the house and I don't think about y'all at lunch. I was over at the service station here, and I'm looking at they sell pizzas over there, and so I wasn't thinking about y'all. I'm still kind of thinking about me. I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to eat that pizza. No, but so it does that. Look, it allows us to feel more joy and peace in our daily life. Is that important?
Yes.
It's very important. It's way important for me because I suffer from low self-esteem. And if I suffer from low self-esteem, it's hard for me to be at peace. Because when there's people on the back row having a conversation, three of them talking, that kind of hurts my feeling.
I'm so sorry.
But if I have a higher power who is telling me, no, don't worry about that. Everything is okay. It's going to be fine. My higher power is there to tell me that, look, they're not doing that because they don't appreciate what you're trying to do for them. They just don't understand. They ignorant or something like that. So it would help us to have peace in our daily life. There's a lot of things that happen in our daily lives that just will destroy your peace. Just destroy that. But if you have a connection with a higher power, if you have some spirituality in your life, you are much better able to deal with it. You agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah. So and that's another reason we need to incorporate spirituality into our recovery. Because if you're not at peace, what does that do?
It disrupts your daily life.
It disrupts your daily life. What's the big thing it might do? It might lead you to relapse. It could. Look, I'm not at peace. Everything is horrible. Nobody loves me. Everybody hates me. I might as well go eat worms. So if I'm going to go eat worms, I might as well get the best worms. Where's the best worms found? In the bottom of a tequila bottle.
Is that true? Is that just
No, there is some down there. They used to 100 years ago, 200 years ago. They were shipping tequila from Mexico and other places, and they had the corks in the thing, and they would take the corks out of the bottles to do something to test the acidity in the tequila or something. And where they were in the warehouses and stuff, they weren't very clean. And so a worm would get in there from time to time, and they would go ahead, look, it's money, so they would go ahead and ship out all those bottles, and people started complaining about that, and somebody somewhere said, oh no, we mean to do that. That's a special worm. And so these people who drinking tequila said, dear, they eat that worm.
I'll eat that one. Yeah.
By the time you get to the bottom of the tequila bottle, eating the worm ain't a big deal no more.
No, it ain't.
We're not going to let that worm get out of there with that alcohol in his system. So, we're going to see.
Wonder who will take the worm.
There's at least one person in here is against eating worm.
Or that ate the worm.
Look, this also is going to help you find greater meaning and purpose in your life. So, how many people know you need to have purpose in your life?
All of us.
Yes, we all need to have purpose in our life. So, what's one great purpose we could have in our life? Staying sober.
Oh.
What was yours?
Serving God.
Serving God. Yeah, serving our higher power. Having that spirituality in our life. Because let's face it, most of us in here have children, right?
Yes,
I
sir.
have children.
I got a dog.
I have grandchildren.
A dog.
I have great-grandchildren.
A dog.
The lady down there has a dog. My wife has a dog.
She wanted to make sure you knew that. That's my kid.
So your kids and your grandkids and your great-grandkids, you are their what?
You're their provider.
You can be their provider. I don't want to provide for my grandkids,
But sometimes you have
They come to the house and they say, hey, Grandpa, I'm hungry. So, well, what'd you bring? There's a chicken place down there. Did you bring some chicken? We'll all eat.
You sound like a mean grandpa.
You didn't. I am. You are their primary role model.
Oh, yeah, that's a better one.
They are going to do what their parents do. They're going to do what their children do. I have people tell me all the time down through the years, and most of you in here will tell me the same thing. You don't want your children to do what you did.
Right. No.
No, I don't want my children to smoke. I don't want my children to use drugs. I don't want my children to cuss. I don't want my children to fight. I don't want my.
But what do we do?
Then what are you going to do?
Be a better role model.
The only way to be a better role model is to stop it.
Action.
You know, because I will tell you this: if you smoke, the chances of your children smoking is about 98%. They're going to smoke.
Amen.
They see you do it. That makes it right. When you're drinking in front of them or you're using drugs in front of them, they see you do it. It makes it right. If you use profanity, you know, they're going to use that because you make it normal and you make it right. Yeah, you know, if you and your spouse are fighting and screaming and hitting, and then that's what they're going to do when they grow up because you normalized it. You make it normal, so you are their primary role model.
Like the cool, remember the cool packages used to have that camel with the eyeglasses on, looking so cool, and made them change the logo.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of young people started smoking cool.
Oh yeah, but it's not the camel's fault. It's your fault.
Yeah, no, it was not.
It's not your fault. Because if we don't smoke, they don't smoke.
Correct.
Now are there outliers?
Yes.
Of course there's outliers. I've got 2 children. I have 3 children. I have probably I don't know 7 or 8 grandchildren, and I got 2 great-grandchildren. Out of all of those kids, grandkids and great-grandkids, guess how many smoke?
1.
No.
1.
1. I do have one that smokes, and he smokes like a chimney. And so, look, I'm so sorry. The rest of this is only one more, and it's the most important one.
I have therapy.
So, being there, but you know, by the time my kids were old enough to know, I had stopped smoking. Mommy never smoked, so they never smoke. They don't. You know, I stopped drinking and all, so they don't drink, they don't smoke, and all of that stuff's good. My one son who does smoke doesn't drink, and I can look. This. I'm not bragging, but I am a little bit. I've got all of these kids and grandkids and great-grandkids. I have never heard any of my children, grandchildren, or great-grandchildren say a cuss word. Never heard any of them. They will. I'm not saying they don't cuss, but they don't cuss around Daddy. They don't cuss around Grandpa. Never heard it.
That's something to be proud of.
It is something to be proud of. I'm proud of it. My kids, you know, they're good kids. So here's the deal. So helping you find your higher power, spirituality can help you find greater meaning. There's something beyond me. There's something greater than me. There's someone out there that has a purpose for my life. And look, the purpose for my life goes beyond me finding my next hit.
Yeah.
And the purpose for my life probably doesn't mean it's found in a bottle. The purpose for my life is something greater than what I have sought so far. Right?
Right.
So I have a greater purpose than what I have employed up to this point in my life. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So your higher power, spirituality, is going to help you do that. So that's one of the reasons we need to get connected into that. The last thing, it makes it easier for us to heal from past experiences. Anybody got some past experiences?
Yeah.
Anybody got some past experiences you need to heal from?
Yes, sir.
Some stuff has happened in your life. Yeah, some stuff has happened in my life as well. All kinds of stuff. I would tell you some of this stuff, but I'm saving it for my next book.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna put it in there, and I want to sell all those experiences. But the best way to heal from those is what?
Write it down. Talk about it.
Write it down. Talk about it. That's why we have talk therapy. That's why, you know, we don't give. A lot of people on medication, and look, I'm going to tell you all this. I don't have any problem with medication because sometimes we need some medication. All right, but talk therapy is 100 times better than medication. At least 100 times better than medication. So when we can talk it out, when we talk it out, we can. What you hear what that says? When we talk it out, yeah, that gets it out. And so when we talk it out, that gets it out, and we can get rid of that stuff, and it helps us heal from that, right? All right. Questions, comments, or snide remarks about spirituality? Yes, ma'am.
No, I was gonna ask you if you're feeling better.
I do feel a little more good or better.
Okay.
Yeah, I do feel a little better. Thank you, ma'am, for asking. Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
It's my medication. I apologize. I can't even focus. I'm like, I don't even know what we were talking about. I'm so sorry.
Oh, well, that's perfectly all right. She
And I'm
was
sorry I
blaming
disrupted
all of
your
her. She was blaming all of her bad behavior today on her medication.
I'm so
Now,
sorry.
what do we always say?
I don't know.
Excuses are like that.
That's not what we always say.
says.
That's not what we always say. You know, we can always come up with a good excuse for bad behavior,
But I'm
right?
sorry.
Right. I told my wife that yesterday, and she nearly hit me with a brick. You know. So we're gonna take. I told y'all we might end a little early, so we're gonna take a quick. We're gonna take our break a little bit early, so we're gonna go, and we'll be back about 15 minutes after. So y'all come back, and we'll do some other stuff. We have some other stuff.
I don't even know where my treatment hates me. I don't know where my treatment
I got my
plan. I
treatment
just
plan.
had it.
Look again. You're overlooking it.
What?
Because nobody's going to steal it. Because we do
No.
not want extra work.
I lost my treatment plan.
No, I told her the same thing when I was on
Not
I was like, I don't know.
extra work.
I don't know.
You're not
I mean, I
overlooking
can't
it.
focus on nothing, man.
You're not overlooking it.
We're all talking.
Those treatment plans have a way of.
I don't know where any of my stuff is. I've lost everything. I don't know what's
Well, you've been walking around so much, nobody knows.
Oh my God.
Hanging.
You couldn't take it anywhere.
He's right.
We're going to need to get you a little dose of that medicine. This is not working.
You ready to go see my baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
today too?
Yeah.
Alex,
can I borrow my 5 paper clips?
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah. She's giving me, I have to write an apology letter when he cries to each one of my children as if I killed them.
Oh my God. Well, that's probably something that you might
Well,
get a lot
the
of.
night in our motherfucking bump.
Come here. I'm not walking on whatever there.
Go on.
What's wrong with on?
I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Literally. She disappeared.
Here. I'm not walking on.
Please.
Okay, then hold on.
She said, hold on.
So you have
to put them together?
Yes. So you have to learn to like grab a hold of. You know?
I want to find that other one. Because I'm not going to let it go to waste.
Water and cheese, goat milk. Yeah.
I'm drinking that stuff.
What's up, Sal?
Was that me?
Okay, you ready?
Now ready. Thank you, my love bug.
I need to go to that hospital again, maybe. I don't know. I don't like it.
Your phone was ringing.
My phone
Where?
ringing.
Your phone was
It might be
ringing.
your wife.
No, I did not.
You got to trigger us to call our own people.
Oh, that's fine. What do you want me to say?
Okay. This is the AA. This is the invitation. Okay. This is the meditation ones. Okay. 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 Like this. Self-care assessment. Let's see. Okay, August the 1st to the 15th. This is August 18th. Okay, so these are okay. Okay. And then these can go together. Why am I still seeing it? So I gotta go pee. First, I don't know why. There it is. I found it. Ooh, ooh.
Do you want to take a cigarette break? Chasing dragons, sugar boom boom. People, I'm gonna stay, sugar boom boom. Coffee got cold. You minutes.
Yeah, I know. I need to know. Is it helping? Yeah. Okay. I'm trying. I'll hold up and do what I can to make it not smell like. She's at Spindle Top.
Damn, it's cold. Shit. Fucking cold all the time. Hey.
Get my coat solar once we get done like that.
Damn.
Oh, my uterus is hurting.
So bad. I want to go home. But I ain't got a home. I ain't got a friend. I ain't got a home. Between Lost Boys.
I said, feels like me spread my arms. I was like, no, I don't know. Not at all. I ran a motherfucking race. I'm going in anyway, so. I did what I could to make it smell better.
What, out in the hall?
Mm-hmm.
But that smelled good.
I sat there and did 3 laps spraying Fabuloso, so I hope. I sprayed the carpet so it would soak in. Yeah, she's
Last time I was here, there was a girl, and every time we cleaned, she did bleach down the hallway. I think I got high on bleach.
I hope the Fabuloso helps it smell better. I mean, that's all I can do. We don't have any good cleaning spots.
I didn't get to sign in.
Somebody still smells like shit. No, I did the best I could.
I didn't get to sign in. Oh, this is the ball.
And I'm not worried about it. He can turn it over to the Lord.
so
He'll
good?
work it out. Jesus will work it out. If you let him.
Thank you.
If you let him. You got your seatbelt.
Yeah. He was getting mad at me. I was like, I'm covering my face. He was getting mad at me. I was distracted.
Oh, we need to get out of class early.
What?
He's don't. Oh, yeah.
Dropping names from membership.
That's problem done. So what I turn this into?
It's Casey.
Okay, now listen. My sister has 2 children.
Our children aren't going to be included in the 2 children, so our kids won't be able, they won't be able to have all 6 kids. But Miss Asia made an exception for your
She's
children.
the one. Oh,
Well, she leaves today, so after that, come Saturday. That's like the last thing she's going to be doing before she leaves.
I love their nanny. Nanny Grass, though.
I don't know if they'll let you do all 6 kids. They're going to let you do your biological children.
No. I put it down anyway, but I get it. That problem that I had, I just couldn't take a break. Oh, don't let it get too late. I'll turn it over to Jesus, and I'm not worried about it.
Oh, yeah, I saw Kristen.
I love
I
it.
love that.
Kristen said,
Got a
she
bunch
said
of them.
I think she dropped the date.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
No, she got. Where'd Jessica go?
I don't know.
She might be out back.
I thought she was in therapy.
Oh, yeah, she has therapy.
Yeah, I almost forgot for a second. Yeah, she got put out for therapy.
All right,
I
we're
thought it
about,
said true R other face.
we're getting started again. All right, we're back. We're going to get started again. So, this week has been primarily about spirituality and our recovery. And I'm hoping that through all of the stuff that we've looked at this week, we've gotten to the point where we at least understand that spirituality can be helpful to us in our recovery. And I also...
I'm trying to get to my seat. And you're picky about walking in front of the camera. Okay, I'm good now. Thank you.
I'm also hoping that we have learned that it's a pretty easy thing to incorporate some spirituality into our recovery. We need to get to a place where we receive a higher power of some sort so that we can do that. Now, here's the other thing I want us to go over fairly quickly this afternoon. I always say this afternoon, but the rest of this morning. Our deal up here shows this big old guy with all the muscles and everything. So, what can we ascertain from that? If we look at somebody got all those muscles and all of that stuff, what can we ascertain? He works out, probably. Yeah, pretty stout, pretty strong. Yeah, so one of his strengths is what?
Physical.
Muscles? Well, maybe so. What is it?
His strength.
His strength, maybe
He's got
so.
good dedication.
What's that? Dedication, yeah. That's one of his strengths. He's committed. He's also, you look at these guys and, they got big muscles and all of this kind of stuff. That stuff doesn't happen by magic. That takes a lot of work, takes a lot of commitment, takes a lot of dedication, takes a lot of time. I saw a bodybuilder on television years ago, and they asked him, the reporter asked him and said, look, you're in really good shape. He said, how long would it take me to get into the kind of shape you're in now? And the guy said, 3 lifetimes. Yeah, you know, it takes some time to do that. Arnold Schwarzenegger and all of those guys back in the day, they were in great shape. But what happens, you look at them now, though they're not quite like that, right? He's a whole lot older, and yeah.
Did they do steroids?
If you don't, I don't know. A lot of them did. A lot of them, some of them didn't. Most of the guys that were heavy on drugs and stuff, they died in their 30s. So, you know, some of them, I've had people say that Arnold Schwarzenegger was a natural bodybuilder. I've also heard that he used steroids. I wasn't with him while he was doing all of that, so I have no idea. It's a whole lot easier to build that kind of muscularity when you're doing that. But they have to have a lot of strengths that go beyond just muscle, right? Because the muscles don't just grow. You know, they just don't pop up there. But, you know, they do grow if you work them and all of that kinds of stuff. So here's some things we're going to look at on our own personal strength. Although some of our strengths are obvious to us. Do you have strengths that are obvious to you?
Yes.
What's some of your strengths?
Good looks.
Good luck?
My hair.
Your hair? Okay,
Yeah, my ability to communicate.
Say that again?
My ability to communicate.
Yeah, an ability. Yeah, you do communicate fairly well. Your ability to communicate, an ability to concentrate, to pay attention. You know, some of those things are very easily seen, right? Those strengths are pretty easy and they're obvious to us. Some of our strengths, though, go completely unnoticed by us. What do you think? What kind of strength do you think that could be we could have in ourselves and not even know it?
Caring like a mother.
Yeah, like a mom. Or what?
Perseverance.
Perseverance. Yeah, sometimes, you know, we can persevere and not even realize that that's part of who we are and what's going on for us. That's a good point. And like you said, caring for like a mom does. You know, mom can care for her children in ways that we never know. You know, they're just not that obvious. You know. But y'all know I worked out the prison for a whole bunch of years, and it didn't really matter what the person had done. On visitation day, mom would come. Mom would be out there. Dad wouldn't come as much. Every now and then, Dad would come. A wife would come. Sometimes children would come, but Mom was always come. You go out there every now and then. I had to go and be the counselor in that group, and you'd have 50 people there, and 35, 40 of them would be moms. And they would bring a big bag of money, so that they could buy Cokes and chips and stuff for their little baby boy. Now, the fact that that little baby boy had killed 4 people and all of this stuff, that was neither here nor there. They still do, their baby.
It's still your kid.
Right. So you can often spot your invisible strengths. And it's impossible. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's important for us to understand what our invisible strengths are. Your pen doesn't write. You know why your pen doesn't write?
Because I'm not supposed to be writing in the class.
Because your pen knows it's not supposed to be writing stuff in class unless you're taking notes, and then that's perfectly all right. You can often spot your invisible strength by noticing the things that energize you. If something energizes you, what does that mean? Excites you. You're excited about that. Something happens that excites you and all of that kind of stuff. You can look at that, see that's one of your inner strengths. So if something just really energizes you, what do you think your inner strength is that's showing itself when you get all energized? That's kind of hidden, isn't it? Kind of hard sometimes. My ability to get excited about something. That's an inner strength. Because what happens when you get excited about something?
Your heart rate raises.
Well, of course, your heart rate's going to go up. Your blood pressure's going to go up.
It releases them things you're talking about.
It releases endorphins. All of those kinds of things happen when that goes up. But you're going to be motivated to action. When something happens that just excites you, something happens that makes you want to do something, that's a hidden strength because at that time you're motivated to do something, right? When I see somebody, look, one of the things that really bugs me, I was coming to work this morning and I took 11th Street and I was driving down 11th Street and I saw two people. One there's two different bus stops, right? There was a gentleman who was living in one bus stop, and at the next bus stop there was a lady sleeping on the thing there, living at the bus stop. Yeah, that's a kind of a hidden strength because I looked at both of those people, and at that moment I knew that they needed me to do something. So what strength was hidden in me at that point? Empathy. Humility. Compassion, maybe.
Grateful.
Great. Oh yeah. Gratefulness. I have. Yeah. I drive a car that's very old, and I'm going down there, and sometimes my car will jerk like there's a little something with that transmission that makes I want to do like that, and. Sometimes my wife was in it the other day and it went like that with her and she was just completely freaked out. Okay, don't worry until the transmission falls completely out. Then we'll have a little issue. But when you're thinking like that, you got this old car and all of this kind of stuff, and then you pass by someone who's living at the truck stop. Not the truck stop, the bus stop.
It makes you really grateful.
That makes you grateful. Yeah, that makes you grateful. It's probably been 30 years ago. My wife and I went to Mexico. We went down to the market in Mexico, and they told us when we were at the market. They said, "Look, all you have to do." They have a thing there called maxi taxis. They're just little buses that drive around, take people back across the border and stuff like that. And they told us when we were going across. Actually, said, "Look. The maxi taxi will take you straight to the market. And then when you get ready to go, you just come out and find the maxi taxi and they'll take you back across the border." So, okay. So we went out there and we got on a maxi taxi. They took us to Mexico and took us to the market and we did all we were going to do. And then we got we got out and we're looking for just a good looking maxi taxi because some of them are falling apart. And so there was one that was in pretty nice shape. We said, okay, we'll go in this one. We got in that maxi taxi and he headed down the highway. So, he's not going to the crossover. I don't know where he'd go. So he took us about 40 miles out of the big city and took us to a place called Baghdad, Mexico.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my goodness. That place was, oh, my goodness. There were people living in places where they had cut barrels in half and opened the barrels up and made houses out of those barrels. And it was just horrible. It was just terrible. And so we're sitting and the guy pulled up and stopped it in Baghdad, Mexico. And we're sitting in there.
Yeah.
So, okay. We're just sitting in the maxi taxi, don't know what to do. And then after about 30, 40 minutes, a different driver came out and he looked in and he said, "Hey, Mercado?" I said, "Sí, Mercado, por favor." And so, okay, he's going to take us back to the market. And so he's taking us back to the market, and we get to the as he's headed for the market, we pass by the walking bridge across, So I said, "Oh, Aldo." And he stopped and let us out of there, and we went across the thing there. But when we got back, when somebody's telling me, "Well, I don't have, all we have is 2 color TVs," and it's like, my house only got 3 bathrooms. Okay, you need to go to Baghdad, Mexico for a little while. That will build some gratefulness in us, and sometimes that's a strength. Gratefulness is a huge strength, and that's one people ought to see in us, right? Yes. People ought to see in us, and when we go out here, at some point today, somebody's going to feed us a meal, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're blessed.
Yes.
What is it?
We are blessed.
Yeah, we are blessed because we ought to be able to show some gratefulness over that. We're in a really good spot here. We're going to get a place. We've got a place to stay. We've got a safe place to stay. We're going to get food. And look, I don't know. I understand addiction, and I'm addicted to food. Right? I mean, I'm sorry, but I have to have it like every day. Sometimes, usually, more than once. 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a day. I'm going to eat me something other. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm addicted to it. But I need to be grateful for the fact that somebody's cooking it. It's a clean somewhere. Everything is taken care of and all of that kind of stuff. That's a strength in us to be able to be grateful for those small things.
Yes.
Have y'all been hungry?
Yes.
I'm not talking about hungry. It's nearly 11 o'clock. I'm talking about hungry. This is the third day.
Yeah.
Been hungry. Yeah. And so when somebody said, "Here's a biscuit,"
I ate them.
Thank you very much. I am so
Grateful.
When I was a kid, we had, we didn't have any money. Y'all know all that, but we were at a place. We were at a time one time there's no food in our house at all, and Mom made pancakes for myself and my brother. And that's what we had to eat. That's it. We hadn't eaten in a couple of days. So my brother was pretending his pancake. We're cutting it up. He's pretending his is a steak, and I'm over there. I'm cutting mine up, and I'm pretending mine is bologna. So he had a better imagination than I did. But grateful to have a pancake. Now we're talking about pancake. When I have a pancake now, I put some peanut butter on it. I put some jelly on it. I put some sugar-free syrup all over it, and then I eat that thing. Because back then we didn't have any of it. We just had a pancake. There was nothing on it, just a pancake. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, there was a movie I saw. And I don't remember the name of it. I wish I did. But there was a couple of little boys, in their house in the kitchen, and they would cut magazine articles out.
Yeah.
And they would vision that's what they were eating.
Right.
I wish I could remember the name of that movie, but I was like,
Well,
things that we take for granted, just having clean water to drink.
Oh yeah, just having clean water to drink and all of those things. But that's a strength for us to be grateful. Sometimes you notice what we talked about when this old boy here had this muscles. How did he get those muscles?
Eating healthy, working out.
And working out. He was working on them. He was working at that. So here's the deal. Gratefulness, being grateful is something we can work at.
Yes.
We can. We can work at that. Now, I have watched people in treatment take their food tray and dump it in the garbage and walk off and say, well, that's just garbage. Okay.
Yeah.
That's now they're not hiding the fact that they're pretty ungrateful about that.
Right.
Because look, I'm not going to ask you, but people have, and people do, and I have eaten out of the garbage.
I have
too.
Yeah, okay. So I'm very grateful that people threw away edible stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So
I'm be grateful to have ungrateful people.
Yes. Look, I'm a really grateful person. I will tell you this: I don't go hungry any day ever anymore unless I want to.
Right.
When I'm hungry, it's because I want. Yesterday I was hungry because I had to. I had an appointment at 3:00 in the afternoon. I had to stay. I had to fast all day. But I was hungry. But I was hungry because I wanted to be. So God has blessed me to the point. My children have never been hungry. My grandchildren have never been hungry unless they wanted to. And I tell you, that gratefulness comes from the place of not having.
Right.
So a lot of times you can't see that.
Like I know from the mom, back in the Depression,
Mm-hmm.
and then those traits come, they knowing what a cat head biscuit is, you don't have all that other stuff to go in. It's just making hot water cornbread, or don't peel your potatoes because that's more to eat.
Oh yeah.
Or if you do, make sure you're not just chunks of it are coming off.
Oh sure.
Don't ever sit down at the table and say, "Hey, I don't want that's not what I want to eat."
Oh yeah.
Like that.
We ate whatever Mom put on the table.
Absolutely.
So These strengths, look, notice the things that energize you. Now, thinking about this past week, what did you feel most energized about, or when did you feel most energized? I know you guys get all energized when it's just about group time. I know, I can see the excitement. I know that goes on, and I know you guys are all grateful for the fact that somebody comes in here and does a really good group for y'all. But what energized you this week?
Yesterday, whenever I got visitation with my daughter.
All right, yeah, you see that she got all energized yesterday when she got to visitate with her daughter. Isn't that good? So, what type of inner strength was that? What type of strength do you think might have been? She might have been showing. What was it?
Gratefulness.
Gratefulness. Yeah, grateful. She's just grateful to see that little baby. How old is your little baby child?
3 months.
3 months old. So it still qualifies as a meatloaf. Yeah, it's a meatloaf. It's a sausage that poops at one end and poops at the other end. So that's one of the reasons people come into to treatment. Did y'all know that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because of the children. Because they're thinking, look, I can be in here for a month or two. Maybe that kid will grow to the place where it ain't pooping and puking so much. So think about that. Anybody now? She was excited about the fact that and I can understand that, So there's a lot of strengths that's going. There is that bond between a mom and their baby. That's a strength. That's a real strength. And then just there's love there, and that's a real strength. Love is a huge strength. If you are a loving person, I'm going to guarantee you that is a strength, right? That is. And so, and all of us have the capacity to be a loving person. That doesn't mean that, hey, I'm in love with everybody that I run into, but I am a loving person, and I have the capacity to love everybody I run into. And you have to take lust out of the mix. You love someone because you love someone, not because you lust after them. That's a different thing. So, we're using all of those things. Think about a few of your favorite hobbies or activities, things that you do. What is it about these activities that you enjoy? How do those activities put your strengths to use? Yes, ma'am?
Your experience.
That's a good one, yeah. Being able to have a new experience?
No. Like your experience with machinery or stuff you're working with.
Okay, your experience.
Kind of like your fulfillment, I guess, yeah.
Okay.
Skill.
Oh, yeah, that's
Skill.
Skill.
Yeah. Okay. Skills that you have, some of the things that we call skills, they actually turn out to be the strengths that we have. A lot of us have built, like you said, some skills on how to do some stuff, and then those things become things that we can use in our life as strengths, right?
Like a trade.
Yeah, like a trade. I can go to work. I can do this. I can do that. I can do all of those things. Those are some strengths that we have. So how did you get those skills?
You learned them
by determination.
Determination. That's the thing, determination, putting the work into it, just like this old guy here did, commitment to that. So, those are some of those hidden strengths that we have. And these are the things that we need to know that we have in ourselves. If I have commitment enough to learn a trade, commitment enough to learn a skill or something like that, where else can I use that commitment?
In your daily life.
In your daily life to do what with?
To like
stay clean.
On your
stay
job.
In my recovery. It all comes back to staying in my recovery. If I ask a question and you're not sure what I'm saying, just say stay in your recovery. That is the genesis of everything that we're trying to do and the end all of everything that we're trying to do. Yes, ma'am.
Our toolbox.
A toolbox, yeah.
Open your toolbox.
Yeah. Yeah. Get in, and everything that we're trying to do is focusing toward that one thing. Just getting in our recovery and staying there. So sometimes other people are better at spotting our strengths. Sometimes they are. Sometimes we really don't know that this is a strength for us. Sometimes people look. There's a lot of folks who are not afraid at all to get up and have a word. Like, yeah, she came in late in the group, but she's smiling because we know that if we give her the mic, she's gone, right? Yeah, yeah. So, and there's other people who are doing the same thing. So, sometimes other people though are better at spotting those strengths. If you look around the group in here today, and if y'all look around the group at South, can you spot some strengths that other people have?
Yes.
Of course you can. You can look and you know that some of those people, you know some of the strengths that some of the other people in the class have, right?
And it's a good thing to tell them too when you see them, because sometimes we beat ourselves up and we don't think we have them, or somebody else makes a comment on it, how you know what I'm saying, and and you should do that with other people too.
Oh yeah, we have some people in this class over here that are very feeling people. No, they're very feeling people. We have some people in the class at South who are very emotionally driven people. Is that a strength? Sometimes it can be a weakness, but I will tell you this, a lot of times it's a strength. Because lots and lots of time people don't want to feel their emotion. You know, when we get to the place where we can feel our emotions and we're not ashamed of our emotions, then that's a real strength. And when I see people being able to do that, I can spot that strength and I can see that strength. And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I will let that person know that that's a strength that you have. Should you tell people that you've seen a strength in them?
I think it would be good, so that it helps build their confidence and their self-esteem.
Yeah, if I see a strength in you, and she said it helps build their self-esteem and their confidence and all of that stuff, and if I see a strength in you that is really absolutely a strength, I'm going to go tell you that. You know, now don't do it all the time, because usually we get busy sometimes and that person is operating in that strength, you know, all the time, and this becomes what we assume they're going to do every day, and we just see that that's something that's natural and normal for them. And when we see it as natural and normal, we may not see it so much as a strength. But we need to be able to recognize that as a strength. And when we recognize it, we don't need to be embarrassed about going and telling that person that that's a strength. Right? Mm-hmm. So can you tell what this strength that this person right there had?
She's writing notes.
She's a good journalist.
She's a journalist. Yeah, she journals all the time.
She's actually taking notes.
She takes notes all the time. You know, so that's a strength for her, right? Also, and what I was thinking about for her is that she's very verbal. She has that strength. She doesn't have a fear of speaking in public, and that's a big deal because most people do. And she doesn't have a fear of letting her opinion come out, because she's given the answer a lot of times, even when it was wrong. Yeah, she may not know what the answer is, but she's going to come up with something, and so that's a strength, because what does that do?
Public speaking.
It is public speaking, but it'll get other people interested in saying something, even if they're there to correct her. Then they can say something. Turn that thing off when I was outside.
It's a strength to have confidence enough to be able to speak.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of the strengths that we see in that person is confidence. And, you know, I pray for that all the time, because y'all know I have low self-esteem and all of that kind of stuff. And some of that stems from me not having high confidence in myself. So I pray for confidence every day. And, you know, I'm not the best at computeration machines and all of that kind of stuff, and technology kind of left me in the dust somewhere down the what road. You know, I couldn't even punch in this morning. I don't know how to get, you know, so I'm working for free today. So, yeah, you know, so I'm kind of embarrassed. I sent a thing to the boss lady, but I had to send the thing to her last night so she could punch me out, and so now she had to punch me in this morning. So if she didn't, then I'm working for free. But yeah, that's all right.
Dr. Carter, did you pass out any sheets while I was in here that any worksheets or?
I do have a couple of sheets you can have. Yeah.
Yes,
So anyway, other people are better at spotting than we are because we are so used to using our own strength. Yeah, I have some strengths. You know, I will tell you that I do suffer from low self-esteem, but I do have some strength. All right, I'm not afraid of public speaking.
Smile.
Yeah, yeah, I can be a comedian sometimes, and you know, some of those things are strengths for me. But other people should, you know, that you can spot some of my strengths as well before I can spot them.
well, I got one.
All right.
The way you stand bold for God, you speak of Him, and you follow Him, and
yeah, that I believe that's
strength.
I believe that's a strength that comes out of fear.
Your advocation for people in recovery.
Say it again.
Your advocation for people.
Oh, advocating for people. Yeah, that's a strength. Advocating
Yes,
for people in recovery.
Yes.
So sometimes, you know, when we use our own strength, they begin to feel ordinary or unspectacular. So you have that same strength of not being afraid of public speaking. That's a strength for you. But when we look at that and we say, when you raise your hand, you know, which you do often, won't be long before you'll have to get a shoulder surgery. You know,
I'm building my muscles.
Yeah, you're building your muscles up over there. But you know, when you raise your hand, everybody goes, okay. We expect you to, because you do that all the time, and you do it, and you expect it all the time as well. So we get used to it, we get accustomed to it, and so we can ignore our own strengths. Right? So we need to know that we're operating in that every day, and because we're operating in it every day, sometimes it becomes unspectacular to us. But it shouldn't. We need to see that as our strength. So it's not unspectacular or ordinary. So do people share with you about qualities you have that are strengths? Sometimes, but very seldom, you notice? People don't usually come up and tell you, man, I think you do this well. Do they?
No.
You don't get a lot of attaboys about stuff like that. Should we?
It'd be nice, but
I think so. Look, unless it's an empty thing. You know, if it's just something we're doing to do something, well, I don't think we need to do that. But if somebody in the group has a real strength that they're showing, I think we need to tell them. We need to go tell that person, you know, you do well in group. You know, man, I'm going to tell you, I saw a lady this morning mopping the floor, mopping the hallway and all of that stuff. Doing a good job. You know, doing a good job. And I'll pass by people who are mopping and stuff like that. Is that a strength?
Yeah.
What would you call that?
A good housekeeper.
Good housekeeping.
Ethics.
Good ethics. Yeah, because I will tell you that's a really good point. That's a good ethical stance, because she was mopping and doing all of that. And no one was watching. No one was showing her how to do that. No one was telling her you missed a spot over there. So when I passed by her, I said, well, you're doing a good job. You know, and I think sometimes that's a strength for me, because I can notice when somebody is doing well, and I will tell them. And sometimes I may do it a little bit more than necessary, because sometimes I find out that I do it so much that people kind of disregard it sometimes. They feel like I'm being facetious. You know, they feel like I'm just saying it just to say it. It's not true. If I walk by someone who's doing a good job, I'm going to tell you you're doing a good job. Here's the antithesis of that. If I walk by and you're doing a crappy job, guess what? I'm going to tell you. You know, if I walk by and you're mopping and it's obvious you've missed about 90% of where you're supposed to be mopping, I'm going to tell you, wow, you need to get something different to do. You know, that ain't good. Yes, ma'am.
What does antithesis mean?
The opposite of that. Antithesis. Yeah, the opposite of whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're Now I can't explain it. If you're doing something well, I'm going to tell you you're doing something well. But the antithesis of that, if you're not doing it well, I'm going to tell you that as well.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to. Yes, I'm not. But that way, you can know if I walk by you someday and saying you're doing a great job, I am not lying to you. You're doing a good job. And this is another. I think a strength for me is that I'm fairly truthful.
Yes.
Yeah, you notice I did not say I'm completely truthful.
We already know.
Yeah, because I do lie.
Well,
You know that there's somebody else in the room here that does lie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all all do it. Every one of y'all.
Freaking liars.
Y'all are lying if you
everyone-
say
All liars we are.
I have people in this group and people in the other group lie to me all the time. You know, they pay no attention in class, and they're eating in class, and they're writing, and they're doing all of this kind of stuff. And then when class is over, they'll say, "That was a good class, Dr. Garner." How do you know? You weren't here. How do you know it was a good class? You know. But so we all do that. But I am fairly truthful. So, but there are times I'm not quite like that. So, in what parts of your life have you had the most success?
Shit. When we were little.
Go ahead.
in my adulthood working,
In your adulthood.
like what the work I do, construction, and
Yeah.
knowing when they give me a job to do, they don't have to go make checks. They already know that it's done. Being on work, being on time to work.
Boy, isn't that a strength?
It is.
Being on time.
12-hour shift 7 days a week.
Being on time is a huge strength. What does it mean when you're habitually late?
You're
always late.
What is it?
Repetitive.
Late all the time, right. What does it mean? Why are you late
Undependable.
all the time? You are undependable. But what else does it mean?
Unreliable.
Unreliable, all of that kind of stuff. But it's, look, I'm an anger therapist. If you're late all the time to either group, to work, to whatever, it's a sign of hidden anger.
Wow.
Yeah, you're angry about something. We don't know what it is. You know, you haven't talked about it yet, but you're angry about something and have decided to take it out on your employer, take it out on your group, take it out on your family, take it out on society as a whole. You don't know that, but that's what you're doing.
Wow. Wow.
It's strange. So. A lot of us have had a lot of success in a lot of areas, you know, and those, if you look at the success you have to look at the success comes from some of those strengths you have. Don't think of success only in terms of career or income. Think of success as anything you have achieved. Now, one of the things I've achieved is I have about 3 or 4 really good close friends. Is that an achievement?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Have
is.
none.
Yeah. A lot of people don't have any. Is that a bad thing?
No, it's just.
Can be. Yeah. Yeah, it can be. You know, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs says we have to have some friends. We have to have love and belonging. So we have to have some friends. So think of success as friendship, knowledge, things you've learned. You know, we've learned a few things in our group
That we're not supposed to throw things.
that we're not supposed to throw things. We've learned how to catch and how to chunk and all of that kind of stuff. How to successfully blow our nose. All sorts of things. So, our happiness, is there something in your life that you've done that's made you happy?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay, some of the strengths. What was that?
Oh, I said I started decorating my planner. It makes me very happy.
Yeah. Some of the strengths, some of the things that I've done in my life have made me very happy.
Yeah.
You know, when I quit smoking, that was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big deal in my life when I quit smoking. It was fantastic. Because after a few weeks, I was feeling so much better. I used to weigh about 180 pounds. And look, for me, that's big.
Yeah.
That was big. I mean, I had gut out here. So I started working out and everything, and now This morning I worked my gut out and that hurts. Yeah, you know. But that was a great accomplishment for me. So when I look at that, what strengths were involved in getting me to that place? Commitment, and somebody said earlier, perseverance.
Yeah.
You know, making a commitment to myself and following through with it. And where can that morph into? Everything goes to the same place. Where can it?
Self-esteem.
Self-esteem, recovery.
Oh.
Remember we said everything goes back to recovery. If I've got commitment and perseverance, because look, we go how often? One day at a time.
Right.
But here's the deal. What's the most important day?
First day.
Today.
That one I'm in right now.
That day.
Because the one I'm in right now is the one I'm operating in.
That moment.
And so, yeah, that moment. That's why mindfulness is important to us. So if I begin to feel like I'm fixing to relapse or something, I need to get into a mindfulness place. I need to find me a place to get me right into the moment right now, because what's tomorrow?
It's not here yet.
Yeah, tomorrow's coming, but it ain't here yet. All right. So, what about yourself has allowed you to be successful in those areas? We need to take a look at that. If you've made friends with some people, what made you successful in that area? What made you able to make a friend?
Being able to open up.
In order to
Opening up.
In order to have a friend, you have to know how to be a friend.
You have to be a friend. Yes.
Your personality.
Have a good personality.
Common interest.
Common interest in, yeah. You need to know how to relate to other people. So you can't be friends with me if you don't have something that we can connect on. Yeah. Yeah. So when you have those things, you can look into yourself and see the things that you have done that caused you to do some of those things. Imagine a time when you were at your best. Are we at our best right now?
No, we're getting there.
Well, some people are. Some people, this is the best. I used to tell the guys out at the Pokey that, look, here's the deal. If your goal in life was to be incarcerated, get a nice white suit, 3 meals a day, and all these other old boys to live with, then you've made it. This is the thing. If our goal in here is to be not in recovery, but be in treatment in a program like this. If that was our goal as a little girl or a little boy, we woke up one morning and said, what I really want to do is, get addicted and then be able to go 6 or 7 or 8 times into those recovery places, then we've made it, right?
Right. Well,
but this is not usually. I've talked to a lot of people about their goals in life, and none of them have said, well, I've made it. This is what I really want to do. Right?
Well, they say, I may not be where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be.
Yeah, I may not be where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. So there was a time when I felt like I was at my best. They're back in the day, I was feeling good. I was bodybuilding. I was feeling great. And I thought I was at my best. I walked around with my chest poked out, my stomach sucked in. I thought I was at my best. So, describe what you were doing. What about the situation made you feel confident? Winning a little something will make you feel confident. I remember the day when I was in the military and I had waited a while for this particular promotion, and I can still remember how I felt when I was walking away from when they pinned me with that new rank.
Yeah.
Man, I walked all over the post, Everybody needs to see me wearing this. Yeah, I look good in this. Yeah. So what helped me get to that place?
Hard work and determination.
Hard work, determination, perseverance, confidence, not letting stuff get me down. Because when I was supposed to get promoted the first, I didn't. Something happened. So the second time, didn't happen. Third time happened. But without, there was a lot of guys that were in the same boat I was in, and they said, nope, not going to try it anymore.
But that's a strength right there because you kept on keeping on. You finished the race till you got what you wanted to
Per-
achieve.
Perseverance. Right. All right, we got to hurry because you guys are wasting my time. All right. Think of somebody you admire. Think of somebody you respect. So, what's the person's greatest strength? And then, how do you know?
Well, I mean, you can just see it. You know, you can. I mean, not to mention names, but Brandy, man, with her patience, man, the things that she does around here and stuff, man, I'm just like, man, multitasking and doing this, remember what she's got to do, get what she's got to do,
Yeah.
still helping. That's a strength, because, I mean, I'd have spaghetti all up in here.
Well, you know, when I think that one of my heroes, Martin Luther King, and I think of Martin Luther King, that old boy, man, he's something else. You know, he loved the Lord, his God. He was not ashamed of loving the Lord, his God, and he also loved people. And he was, you know, but he was also super courageous because they had told him. Remember, he got shot and killed, right?
Yes.
You know, they told him that if you go out there, they're going to shoot you.
He went out there anyway.
But his strength was,
Yeah.
his God, you know.
So he went anyway.
That's right. I'm not
Persevering.
scared. I know he's with me.
Confident. Willingness to put himself on the line for other people.
Yeah.
And it says, look, emulate that person. I want to be like that. I want to be confident. I want to be a man that is known as a man of God. I want to be known that. I want to be willing to put my life on the line for other people. I want to be willing to do that. Yeah, you know. So that's who and it says, look, what do you share with those? What? Well, you know, I'm in love with the Lord Jesus, but other than I'm not as courageous as he was. You know, somebody comes in here with a gun and says, I'm gonna shoot somebody. I'm gonna say, well, she was sleeping in class. I may not be as courageous as he was, you know, but I'm working at it. Yeah, I know. People tell me that I'm not asleep. I just had my eyes closed. I had a person over at the other group tell us that the other day, and he was snoring and slobbering. So, all right, questions, comments, or snide remarks. Let me ask y'all one first. Did we meet?
Never lived that
Did we
down.
meet our goal?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
I really like the class, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to come.
Okay. I really see.
I do enjoy your class.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. And we will see you guys in a little bit over there, but